You'll never guess where I am. You know why you'll never guess? Because this is the most time I've spent in a location like this my entire life. Because I'm at the campus of the Melbourne University in Parkville in Melbourne, in Australia. And I thought I'd come for a walk because I was nearby. I thought I'd come for a walk and do a short video, give you a bit of an update about my week. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you a couple of little amazing places that are around here. Some of the old buildings. Have a look at this. I don't know any of the history about this place or the building, but it's got some amazing old buildings. And I wanted to use this as a backdrop for a video today. And check out how amazing it is. I'm going to take a seat here and use this place as a backdrop. This is a more modern building. It's all schmicko and fancy and everything. We're about to head into nightfall here. I've got just enough time to do a video, but these buildings are amazing. And I just wanted to show you guys a little bit. It's a pretty awesome place. So, as I walk and find somewhere to go and sit, I've had a headache or a migraine since Wednesday morning. Today is Saturday evening, and Wednesday morning is when I noticed I woke up with a headache, what I thought was a headache, and it just got worse and worse over time. And I swear that since the stroke, I get more and more headaches or migraines, and they kind of make it really difficult for me to get things done. Just like everything else that we've got to deal with is difficult, I've got to also deal with more headaches or migraines than I've ever had. And for those wondering, yes, I have been to have it checked out. We've done heaps and heaps of extra scans that we didn't need to, that we wanted to make sure there was nothing sinister happening and everything was all clear. And in fact, for me, it's really unlikely that something is going to be happening, because the blood vessel that bled in my brain is no longer there, so it can't really do anything. But the migraines, oh my gosh, they're just another level. I wonder what you've noticed. Leave me a comment and let me know what you've noticed as far as migraines go or headaches go. Are they better or worse since your stroke? I'm pretty sure I've spoken to one stroke survivor who said that the stroke got rid of their migraines, which is bizarre and ridiculous. I didn't seem to have that version of stroke. Nonetheless, I've done as much as I could in the last few days to be useful, to be productive, and sometimes it means you just have to get out and go for a walk, and you just have to be anywhere other than inside. The sunglasses have been on the whole time I've been out. I've been wearing them the entire time because the sun is causing neurological challenges, and it makes it hurt more. But this week's been a decent week as far as the podcast is concerned. I want to update you a little bit. So it has grown beyond 5,500 followers on YouTube and continues to do what it's always done on the audio version of the podcast, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. And it's really heartening that it's holding its own on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And some people enjoy listening to the podcast in their car while they're driving, and lots of people enjoy watching the podcast on YouTube. And what I've noticed is the 5-star reviews are growing. There's a whole heap of 5-star reviews now on the YouTube. I beg your pardon, not on the YouTube channel. On the YouTube, there's just likes, comments, shares, and the numbers keep going up. But on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, there's a whole bunch of 5-star reviews. And that just means that people are going to find it. So that's why I ask people to interact, if you're able to, with the podcast so that people can find it. You know, people are reaching out and telling me they found the podcast while they're in hospital just after a stroke. And that's the most amazing thing to me. That's exactly why I set it up, so that it didn't take a long time for people to get to the stage where they had content about their stroke, which was going to make it better for them and make them feel less alone. I'm going to pause right here for 1 second while I switch over to a different camera setting so that you guys can see me properly. The podcast is growing. Everything is awesome. Now this week I've had 2 people reach out, 2 organizations reach out to sponsor the podcast. And that is starting to happen more and more often. We haven't cut a deal with anybody yet, but we're very close with one of the organizations, and that's really heartening because any funds that can come through via a sponsor are obviously going to make my life a little bit easier, because that means there's one less thing I have to fund. And I've been funding this podcast since about 2015, and more seriously from about 2017, 2018 onwards. And it's really good to get people who feel like our audience is worth promoting to. Now, they're not going to be promoting just any kind of junk, because I'm not up for that. I've already told people that I would prefer not to promote their product, because I didn't feel like it was useful and beneficial for stroke survivors. But also, I don't want to make advertising about just because I've got an audience, let's just chuck whatever kind of advertisement to them so that we can get people to buy stuff, which that's not why I set up the podcast. It's supposed to help people and make a difference. So the fact that I've been able to resist the temptation of just saying yes to anyone who says they want to promote something to my subscribers has been a really great thing for me to do. I feel really good about it, so that when the right person comes along, I also feel really good about saying yes to them. And in a few weeks, there'll be a sponsor who are a distributor of robotic products and services that help with arm movement and leg movement and a whole bunch of other things that are specifically designed for stroke survivors, and they couldn't be a better fit. They have a similar philosophy to me. They believe in the same things I believe in, and what we're going to do is have a really lovely synergy and a really lovely relationship. And what that means is that they'll probably have some success because they're actually providing a product. Now, will it be useful for everyone? I don't know. Will it help everyone? I don't know. Will everyone who tries it get results? I don't know. Will everyone need to try it? I don't think so. It'll just be for some specific people who are looking for a particular solution, and there'll be more to say about that as the time comes. So the other organization is a few months away from being able to promote their product because it's still in early stages before manufacture. They've got some prototypes and they've got some working products that work, that they are very comfortable with, and they're just trying to overcome some production issues and some distribution issues, and they'll be ready in about September. And these guys are 100% a perfect fit for our podcast because I can't tell you the product, but they are going to solve a massive solution, or they're going to provide a massive solution to a problem that people who have a deficit on one arm experience. And get excited because I am, but unfortunately I can't reveal anything more about it because I've been sworn not to, even though I'm so excited about this potential collaboration. So I'm looking forward to it and I'm loving it. And that is the first time that two organizations have reached out to me and we are the right fit for each other. And I am getting so excited because it's taken me years to get to that point. Now check out this building behind me. Check out this building. How good is that? I'm not sure how long it's been here for, but I reckon it's been here for at least 150 years or so. Have a listen to all the animals, all the birds. How amazing does that sound that are coming to nest because we're coming into dusk right now. So that's where we're at this week so far. That's a couple of nice things that have happened. And it's really heartwarming because it's taken ages to get into this position and to find a way to monetize this thing and make it possible for me to do more and more for the stroke survivor community. Because I don't get down, but I really get it occupies a lot of my mind about the things that we can or can't do to support stroke survivors, or from my position, what I can and can't do. I get stroke survivors reaching out to me that are desperate, and that is a real concern because desperation is not a good place to be in, and I don't want anyone to be in that position. I feel better about the fact that there is a podcast where they can reach out to somebody, ask a question and potentially get an answer. So that's really great, but it still bothers me that people are in a desperate situation looking for solutions that I don't have for them or that nobody has for them. So it's always playing on my mind. I never thought that the podcast would affect me so profoundly, but it does. It affects me profoundly all the time. And I don't know what the answer is. If there is an answer, I don't know what to do about it. All I know is if I keep doing the podcast, maybe a solution will come up at some point in time and we can promote it and tell people about it. And one of those solutions, of course, which is controversial, is etanercept. It's starting to move into the space for me where it's not as controversial as I first thought. I truly believe in the potential of etanercept to help people. What I'm uncomfortable with is that there is no test to determine whether somebody is eligible or not, and then the only way to find out if you're eligible is to go give it a try and put your money up and not get a result or get a result. And what can we do about that? There's nothing we can do about that, and that's the only way it is. And I'm not sure that it's a problem that it has been caused by Dr. Tobernik. If he didn't exist, if he didn't do this at all, if he didn't use etanercept, we wouldn't even be discussing it because nobody else is discussing it. Nobody else is doing anything to fund any type of study or research about it. And the ones that I've come across, they're still really early on in the process. They're still really early on in that stage, and that means that we've got ages more to wait before it becomes an acceptable treatment and people can use it all the time. Now, on the etanercept note, one of the things that happened this week was I also received an email from Dr. Tobernik's office, and the email was kind of a rebuttal about the study that was done, the last study that was done, the pesto trial by the Florey, and I'm going to prepare a proper response to the pesto trial. I want to go through and prepare a proper response. I've spoken to people via email and I've requested feedback about the pesto trial, but at this stage nobody from the pesto trial has reached out to respond to my email and give me any information. And what's interesting is when you receive a response from them, it's just the automated response, and that response said something like, thanks for reaching out to us. The study has concluded and we are expecting the results to be released in mid-2024. And we are far beyond mid-2024. And we have not received any results. And the only results that we've heard about are the ones that were presented at one of the stroke conferences by one of the researchers involved in the trial. And that was just a brief discussion. It wasn't anything that you could hang your hat on. So that's interesting. And the rebuttal by Dr. Tobenik, I've read, and it's a white paper that Dr. Tobenik's office put together, where they discuss the problems with the pesto trial and why the pesto trial wasn't the right kind of trial and wasn't measuring things in the way that it should have been measuring things to get the type of results and to be able to report. And that might be one of the problems with the pesto trial and why there aren't any results being reported, because of perhaps the way the study was created, some flaws in the way the study was done, and maybe because the results are not showing anything conclusive or inconclusive, well then there's not much to report. So there's a couple of reasons, but I'm going to look into it further, prepare a totally prepare a proper reply and take everybody into consideration. Dr. Tobenik's office, the pesto trial, the stroke survivors, and I'm going to compare that to the Griffith trial, and I'm going to see if I can come up with some kind of a discussion around that, just so that we can keep the conversations going. But this is what's really cool. What's really cool is that people are paying attention to the podcast, and for Dr. Tobenik's office to reach out, at least with an email telling me about Dr. Tobenik's white paper response to the trial, well then that's a great thing, because that means the Recovery After Stroke podcast is being found by all sorts of people all over the place. And that never was something that I expected to happen, and the fact that it has happened is really amazing. The other thing that happened this week is I discovered somebody who I have interviewed for a podcast that hasn't been released yet, that was sent to me to be interviewed because they're a stroke survivor by a PR firm, which is not uncommon. PR firms always reach out to have me interview stroke survivors. Sometimes they're promoting a book. Sometimes the stroke survivor is just looking for people to connect to and tell stories. So PR firms always contact me and say, hey, we know a stroke survivor, can you interview them? And I'm up for it every time. All you need to do to be interviewed on my podcast is be a stroke survivor. So then this PR firm, a little while later, reached out and said, by the way, once the interview's complete and you've uploaded it, can we use that footage and can we use it to cut it and edit it and upload it to a YouTube channel? And I'm like, yeah, tell me more. But initially my first instinct is yes, you can. You can definitely do that. I don't mind if somebody shares their story on my podcast and then reuses that footage. Of course, I would love the credit. I would love there to be a link back to my podcast. I would love there to be a way that people know it was definitely my work and my podcast and my interview and my intellectual property. So that's the only rule. However, what I realized is that this PR firm represents one of the robotics companies that provides, just like the amazing sponsor that's going to come on board and sponsor the podcast, that provides products to help people walk and rehabilitate deficits on arms and legs after stroke. And that's cool. And what I found was that they had reached out through another PR firm about 1.5 years ago, and they had asked for me to interview a stroke survivor, and again, so that they can use the footage and promote themselves. And I'm like, that's interesting. You're a robotics company, you sell products all over the world, you probably make tons and tons of money, and yet you're reaching out to me to interview somebody so that you can use a podcast for your gain about a stroke survivor who used your product and not reimburse me in any way, shape or form, or not support me in any way, shape or form. And it's kind of like they want promotion by stealth. And it felt a little bit odd because previously the other PR company that reached out to me was from a different company, and about a year and a half ago, and I found that odd and strange previously, and I responded to them, to that PR firm, and said, if you guys would like to use the podcast, maybe you would like to support the show. Maybe you want to sponsor a show. And it's not that I don't like promoting tools that work for stroke survivors. I definitely do. And I don't need money to do it all the time. And I've actually promoted the benefits of that product in the podcast for free during conversations because it's useful information for people to know. But why wouldn't a corporation, I imagine multi-million dollar corporation, who's looking for my audience, not just reach out and go, can we give you some support and can we talk about our product on one of your podcasts, or can we sponsor the show? And yet what they do is they go about promoting, attempting to get promotion by stealth, by me doing all the work, paying for the production costs, and then those guys taking the footage and using it wherever they want, however they want, to show how amazing their product is. I just don't get it. I would have thought that they would want a team with podcasts that are specifically designed to reach the types of people that they want to reach. And I just find it staggering. So that's the type of thing that's been happening. I've interviewed a lot of people over the years who benefited from my podcast and who helped stroke survivors, but the only person who didn't benefit was me. And I don't know if I'm being too sensitive about this or if I'm right to say that what I'm saying. I'm just putting it out there to see what other people think and give me your feedback. I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort to put a podcast together. An episode takes at least 4 hours to prepare for, record, and then to edit and upload it, it could take an entire day. And I just don't understand why somebody wouldn't value my time and effort. These companies are funded and have a whole heap of money and sell products to stroke survivors at the most ridiculous prices. Anything you ever came across that helps stroke survivors is super expensive, and yet they won't consider supporting the show. So that's my little whinge. So I've had a couple of great things that have happened this week, some not so great things, and this headache or this migraine, which is definitely not fun, that's been going on for a few days now, and I'm starting to get over it. It's still there, and it kind of lingers in my eyeballs and in my temples, but it hasn't gone away. And I thought, it's a beautiful day today, the sun's been out, it's not cloudy, and I thought what I'd do is just come out, share what was going on for me, what I'm thinking about, create a conversation. Hopefully you guys want to have a chat and resonate with what I'm saying and can give me some feedback and let me know. You know, am I okay to be thinking the way I'm thinking about these guys? I'm definitely excited about the others who want to support the show, promote products that are relevant to stroke survivors. I'm so rapt that the podcast is growing and people are starting to notice it, like Dr. Tobinick's office. That's amazing. I have reached out to Dr. Tobinick's office to see if I can get an interview with him. So that'll be cool. The fact that I'm able to do that is so grouse. I mean, that's amazing. I really am excited about the direction the podcast is going. You know, stroke survivors, as I said, are finding it while they're in hospital, so they don't feel like they're alone in this journey like many of us did. And it's just doing a heck of a lot of good, and it makes all the trouble that I went through to get to this point worth it. I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, there'd be nicer ways for me to find a way to do good in the world than experience 3 brain hemorrhages, brain surgery and learning how to walk again, there'd be nicer ways for me to have come up with that. But look, it is what it is. I haven't come up with it in a nicer way without going through the hard yards, but maybe there's a reason for that. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind. So I hope this video has been interesting and you don't mind my rambling. As I said, I came somewhere different to do a recording, and here I am at Melbourne University. It's a place where I've never stepped foot on previously, or any other university for that matter. And it's cool for me to be able to come here and show you this video and be able to get some information back to you, let you know where things are at. I love how people are interacting with the podcast on my posts on YouTube, how they're interacting with my Spotify by leaving reviews, and with my Apple iTunes. That's amazing. I love how people are supporting each other in the comments. Oh my gosh, yes, that's something that I noticed as well in the last week, that there's a lot of stroke survivors posting and talking about the stuff that's challenging them, and there are stroke survivors commenting on their comment and providing advice, support, whatever it is that they can to make that a little bit easier for those stroke survivors who are commenting and leaving comments about how challenged they are, or how distressed they are, or how they're stuck. What's really cool is that I'm a bit of a connector. People are reaching out as well and asking, do I know someone about this? Can I help somebody with that? And often I've been able to say, yes, I know somebody in this place or that part of the world that can talk to you about that. I've helped connect some people to get some hyperbaric oxygen therapy support, so that's been amazing. So everything is looking great and going in the right direction, even though there's a whole bunch of speed bumps that always come up that we have to get past, that we have to get beyond. And you know what? Hopefully what this video does is inspire you in some way, but not because I'm an inspirational guy, because somebody like me, just a regular guy from Melbourne, Australia, can get up and put a podcast together and make a difference, write a book, all those things. Hopefully what it does is inspires you and makes you think about twice about whether you can or can't do something, and whether it's possible for you to set up a podcast, write a book, connect with people in different ways. I think that's kind of what I want it to lead to. I want it to lead to more stroke survivors reaching out and creating more things to help stroke survivors. I can't do it all on my own. I can't be the only voice. And it's great that I have this voice, but I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. I want there to be lots of different voices, lots of different people that are doing the same thing in their own unique way, because that's what we need. We need lots of unique people doing unique things, helping stroke support, helping stroke survivors in unique ways. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So I'm just about to leave Melbourne University, and I really appreciate all your support, however you support. I love the fact that I get to do this, and I get to connect with people all around the world. And I look forward to supporting you further on your own recovery in any way that I can, even if it's just through a video or a podcast episode, or an idea or a thought that comes into my head. So thanks for watching.